Fáilte le gach duine to the School of Irish Celtic Studies and Folklore. I'm going to hand you over shortly to Kelly Fitzgerald, who is the head of the school. It's great to see you here, Kelly. But just to say, if you have any questions at all, please put them in the chat. We're here to answer them and we want to hear from you. So take it away, Kelly. Gur míle maith.
Míle buchas Aima. It is just a pleasure to be here today. And this is such an exciting time in your life, and trying to think about where you want to go is one of the biggest things you'll ever deal with. And I suppose I really welcome what you can do with a degree in arts and humanities. And in particular, if you think of our school, the School of Irish Celtic Studies and Folklore, there are a number of courses that allow you to engage with the world around us, but in particular to really focus on Ireland and Celtic languages and areas in that regard. Now, there is a lot to kind of explore. And these are courses, quite often, that you're not familiar with at secondary level. And I just want to say, Paul, when you study at third level, it really opens up the way in which you can explore these subjects, the way in which you engage with them. You can pick and choose with the modular system which modules you'd like to take, and you can really cater to yourself of what you want to study in that rich area. Now, there's a lot to say, but others, including myself, have better words to say about this. So I'm going to play a video for you that covers the various areas of study in the school. And after that, we can have some questions and discussions about what it is to be a folklorist, where you can go with your Irish degree, and all sorts. So Owen, if you could please start that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the subject of Celtic Civilisation. My name is Léinn Cheiltigh, and I'm one of the lecturers in the subject. So we have also Dr. Roisin McLaughlin, who is the head of the subject here, and Dr. Linda Doran, who is also a lecturer. So what is Celtic Civilisation? Basically, we explore the civilization of the peoples who speak or spoke the various Celtic languages, specializing especially in early medieval Ireland, that's between 400 and 1200 AD. We offer interdisciplinary and critical views in these fields, including literature, language, archaeology, manuscript studies, history, law, art, and much more. So for the first year modules, we offer modules such as Introduction to Celtic Civilization, Vikings and the Celtic World, Early Ireland, Continuity and Change, about the British Celts, and also an introduction to the early Irish language. I hope you're interested in our subject, and thanks very much.
Steve. Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Aoife Whelan, and I'm the head of Irish Studies here at UCD. Through our Irish Studies programme, you are invited to deepen your knowledge of Ireland's modern society and its history, language, literature, and rich culture through a range of multidisciplinary modules. Guided by our expert lecturers, students can develop their understanding of the Irish language, literature in both Irish and English, history, archaeology, folklore, music, sport, art, politics, and society. And I will add that no prior knowledge of the Irish language is required to take these programmes. We provide both options for those who already have an understanding of Irish, as well as those who are beginners and would like to learn the language as part of their programme. But any material that we look at through Irish is provided through an English language translation. There are two ways to take Irish studies here at UCD. The first is in our BA Arts programme, DN 520. This is a 3-year programme in which students choose 2 subjects for a joint honours. So it's possible to choose Irish Studies and one other subject for your 3-year BA Arts degree. The other option is a new programme we have developed as part of our BA Humanities DN 530 programme. And this is a 4-year interdisciplinary pathway focusing entirely on Irish studies. One of the main differences here is that students have an additional year in the programme. So first year and second year are usually spent at UCD taking modules with us, and then the third year will be spent either on study abroad or Erasmus placement with one of our partner universities, or engaging in an internship or work placement in an industry relative to Irish studies. The fourth year then will be spent back on campus, honing your skills for the final year of your programme. Each of our Irish Studies programmes is comprised of an innovative course design, which includes interactive seminars, lectures, presentations, and online tasks, as well as research-driven active learning. And we place huge emphasis not only on the content that students study, but also on the skills that they develop throughout this programme. We usually, when we aren't in level 5 and the heritage sites are open, we encourage students to visit museums, archives, and other culturally significant sites, including the National Gallery, the National Library, the National Museum, the New Molly Museum of Irish Literature, and much more. And students always enjoy these field trips, which are an extremely important part of our programme and allow students the opportunity to view what they have learned about in the classroom in a real life scenario and to explore the cultural heritage, particularly around Dublin city centre. We also, of course, make full use of the historical and cultural facilities on campus, including the National Folklore Collection, which is housed in our building, in the Newman building in UCD, as well as UCD Special Collections and their wonderful manuscript collection there, UCD Digital Library, and the many exhibitions and events that take place on campus each semester. If you'd like to know more about these programmes, please get in touch with me. You can contact me at aoife.whelan@ucd.ie or come along to our virtual booth as part of the open day today.
Welcome to the subject of Irish folklore and ethnology. I'm Dr. Kelly Fitzgerald, and I'm the head of the subject here in the School of Irish, Celtic Studies and Folklore. Folklore studies is an increasing area of study for students here in UCD, and our students are delving into the fascinating realm of folklore, which includes traditional aspects of culture, the vernacular narratives, wedding customs, as well as more contemporary expressions we see through internet memes and ways in which the people express and celebrate and commemorate their lives today. These are just a few ways that students can engage with the subject, and we see here in the school that the ethos and mission strongly supports the values, the concepts of creating and informing future understanding of national and international identities. We see here that while preserving traditional heritage, language, and culture and literature, we also engage through our teaching in an innovative and forward-thinking manner, which includes ways of exploring the world around us, particularly through ethnographic fieldwork and ways in which to discover the cultures around us. Now, what do we have here in UCD that delivers the best that we can in terms of folklore studies? And of course, we have the National Folklore Collection. This archive is a UNESCO recognized repository, and it is at the heart of the UCD folklore experience. And it works as an anchor from which our field can grow and develop. We see here a number of ways in which you will be welcomed into our school and join us in studying further. Thank you very much.
Díomh chairde is Mise Stefan O'Brien is Chomhalta Teagasc le Gaeilge me Scoil na Gaeilge an Léinn Cheiltigh agus an Bhéaloidis UCD. Tá fáilte mhór go lá Oscailte UCD in Léinn, tá mé an seo chun píosa beaga incentíomh fe ábhar na Gaeilge sa Scoil sa Gaeilge. So cad atá I gceist leis an Gaeilge? Well, dar nóig sí an Gaeilge an tanga atá á labhairt agam an tanga a dhéanann tú ar Scoil. Agus má roiníonn tú an Gaeilge a dhéanamh mar ábhar in UCD, fulamóigh tú anna chuid faoi conas mar Ibrian an tanga, conas mar a dobar an tanga feag na mblianta, fulamóigh tú faoi litriach agus faoi stáis na tanga, ón afhiúchan na Gaeilge ag tús an chéad se caite, a raig go dtí an látá nniuán agus conas mar ús áidean daoine an Gaeilge mar hanga bheo sa Gaeltacht agus lasmuid den Gaeltacht chomá i maiile áithlia agus fud fad na cruinne. Ach sin rud is tábhachtaí nó an rud is luachmhara faoin Gaeilge in UCD agus sa Scoil gonne ná go bhfuil pobal láidir Gaeilge ann campus UCD. So seans go cliste goibh go bhfuil teach na Gaeilge ann sin áit lóistín fáil campus UCD do chaintúirí Gaeilge agus déanann Gaeltacht UCD an scéim chonathe sin a rachtáil. Comáile sin tá an cumann Gaelach ann sin cumann de bhic léinn a bhfuil spéis acu sa Gaeilge agus agraíonn siad imeachtaí trí Gaeilge gach seachtain cúpla uair sa seachtain uaireanta. Agus a lehéad de imeachtaí cosú le trán na gceist, cosú le ítheanta ceol, cosú le ceol choramacha nó léirithe sconáin, nó tagann siad le chéile fiú díreach le té agus cafe ó le chéile agus le Gaeilge labhairt agus le aithne a chur a chéile. Comáile sin sa Scoil lonathe i Norris Newman mar a bhfuil an Scoil tá an seomra cadrih ann. Agus is spás é seo campus UCD do chaintúirí Gaeilge. So má tú déanamh staidéir an Gaeilge nó má tú déanamh staidéir ábhar eile. Is féidir le teacht go dtí an seomra cadrih, té dhéanamh, cafe dhéanamh, bolóna thaobh, síos píse staidéir dhéanamh, agus spás é is seomra é do chaintúirí Gaeilge UCD. Chomáile sin mar chuid de chéim a dhéanamh sa nua Gaeilge an seo an UCD, caithfidh tú cuairt ó thabhairt an Gaeltacht faoi ró. So má dhéanann tú na modúl teangain na Gaeilge a 2B agus teangain na Gaeilge a 3B sa 10 bliain agus sa 3 bliain, caitheann tú seachtain i gceantar Gaeltachta. Fanann tú i dtithe le mnátaí i Conamara nó híos i Géirí nó thuas i Nunamá, agus déanann tú rangana, agus déanann tú imeachtaí, agus caitheann tú saoil feadh seachtaine go thomláin trí Gaeilge. Nuair bhí mission a bhachtléinn bí iad na turais Gaeltachta seo, bí iad siúd na buachfuinte a bhí againn an ggéan. Téann tú ann nó síre le de chairde an gcúrsa agus fólamíonn tú an túfás agus tú ann ag caint agus ag éisteacht le pobal na Gaeltachta féin, san áit a bhfuil an Gaeilge fós mar hanga bheo léthúil ag muintir an phobal an sin. Beidir go mbeadh spéise go sa Gaeilge ach nach bhfuil tú cinnte caithfidh na deisine a bheith go tar éis na céime má bhaineann tú céim amach sa Gaeilge. Well, ní léon sríonar bíonn postanna agus deisine fáil san astrúcháin agus bíonn deisine astrúcháin agus rólanna astrúcháin fáil san Aontas Orpach agus na hinstitúdaí orpacha an mórain, so níl tú sríanta de éisin fiú bíonn daoine micléin agus daoine a bhfuil céim buinte amach acu sa Gaeilge in UCD tá cuid acu héisdul go fada leis an Púlan, go fada le America, go fada le Canada ag déanamh teagasc nó ag múna na Gaeilge ann de bhicléin in ollscoileanna agus in institúdaí fud fad an dóin. So tá an de sin agat dul le teagasc an seo an éireann nó dul le teagasc in áiteanna eile, dul le heistriúcháin, dul le creaaltóireacht nó bheith gobras na meán. Mar sin tá neart deisina ann do riine a bhfuil Gaeilge acu. So tásúlagam go mbeadh sibh sult as an lá Oscailte agus má bhíonn aon cheistena a gcuibh is féidir teacht a deagháil lumsa, is féidir rífasta cheola thugamsa nó is féidir teacht agus ceistena chur orm. Ach mar ocalscéir sé an rud is fear lumsa fe Scoil na Gaeilge Léinn Cheiltigh agus an Bhéaloidis UCD agus fe ábhar na nua Gaeilge an seo ná gur chuid de phobal tú agus tú an seo. Chuid de phobal an choláiste, phobal na Scoile, a chomáile sin phobal níos farsing ná sin phobal na Gaeilge. Agus beag anna áilte roimh sa phobal seo. Mar dúirt mé bígaí deagháil má bhíon aon ceistena goibh go mbeadh sibh sult as an lá.
Díos mar agat. Is mise an Dr. Cathal Billings ó Scoil na Gaeilge an Léinn Cheiltigh agus an Bhéaloidis UCD. Tá gur a leabhart leat aniu faoi cuasa corathach nua, cuasa uathúil ceithre bliana dar teideal teanga, litríocht agus aistriúcháin tá áchar ar fáil in is a UCD faoin gcód DN 530. Is sé is cospóir leis an gcúrsa seo ná micléanna ilúint leis na scileanna teanga is gá an tart faoi ghairmeacha gradamúla le Gaeilge, idir an éireann agus thar lear. I gahabh a cuasa seo, chuirigh na micléin bún faoin na gcuid bon scileanna teanga leis na modúil éagsúla atá dírithe ar labhart, léamh agus scríomh na Gaeilge a bhíonn ar fáil i neach trimestr den chéim. Is na modúil seo baintear leas as áisinaí technoliaachta teanga den chéad sco, bhíonn deisig micléin tréimhsí a chahabh ag fálam lena go ghlachatha agus lena gáirde sa nGaeltacht. Agus coithítear pobal teanga bríomhar sa Scoil, idir a rangana agus sa seomar caidrimh, mar a bhain micléin deis a gcuid Gaeilge a chleachta sóisialta neamhar a Malta. Forbráig micléin de chuid a cuasa seo scileanna létháireachta, scríbhneoireachta agus analíse i modúil éagsúla atá dírithe ar an litríocht. I gcúrsaí ina bhaid sí deis dul an leictha saothar le húdar mhóra de chuid na Gaeilge agus búla le chuid acu sin fiú amháin i seimineár ar an litríocht. Chomáile lei sin, beo micléin ilúint freitiúil ar chanálacha éagsúla aistriúcháin agus réit sófraí le tús a chur lena ngára mar aistriúthirí Gaeilge, bíodh sé sin in éireann nó thar lear leis sin Aontas Eorpach chur a gás. Mas mín leat búla le buíoh foirne de chuid Scoil na Gaeilge an Léinn Cheiltigh agus an Bhéaloidis, agus mas mín leat tuile óla se áil faoin gcúrsa seo agus faoi cuasaí eile de chuid na scoile ag fáilte mhórót.
Oh, well, that was just a flavoring of so much that we have to offer in the school. And I think Stefan, when he was speaking about Irish in the school, just hit it so well, the community that we have and what's available for students there. And particularly, he was speaking about the Seomra Caidrimh, and it really is a bit of the heart of our school. And we're really fortunate in that we're one of the smaller schools in the college, and it really allows us to get to know our students. UCD sometimes can seem like a very big place, and it's always kind of wonderful to have a heart and a home that you're coming back to. Saying that again, our school is open for students of all levels of language, and there is something for so many there. I think at this time, I would just like to open it to the floor. If anyone has any questions for me, or if they have any questions for what was delivered just now, please feel free to put in the chat box or the Q&A box.
We've had quite a few questions in, Kelly. We've one in from Africa who's wondering about the Irish language societies. And if you're not studying Irish, are you free to attend? And also, what are they?
Oh, so for example, Gaeilge is very popular. And I think it's again, we are the School of Irish, but you have the UCD Gaeltacht, you have the Gaeilge. We really want to support that. Again, Irish doesn't just happen in our school. Irish can happen anywhere. I think that's a very important point to always get across. What we allow for is a place for the deep study of that, but it also creates a community. So we see these societies often use the Seomra Caidrimh for various things and engage in the talks and lectures that we have. At the moment, there is a fabulous flourishing community around creative writing and theatre within the language, and we really love to support that as much as we can within the school.
Thank you, Kelly. And we've someone here asking about the types of jobs that students in your school go on to enjoy.
There are so many areas that we cover in the school. So on the one hand, my area, particularly in the folkloristic side of things, is looking at heritage. There's a lot, particularly with folklore, because it's so kind of engaged within communities. There's a lot of public engagement work. There is a lot that can go on that area. When we think of Irish, of course, the traditional kind of jobs or careers that people go on to, we quite often think of as teaching. But as we see Irish take a greater place within the EU, and where we see the EU greater rights to language, which of course is a human right. We see, so many of our former students are emailing me from Luxembourg and Brussels and across Europe. And in some ways, having Irish gives you access to jobs that otherwise may be very difficult to get into. Saying that, again, if you're really interested in getting into radio or broadcasting, if you are in the Irish language community, there are kind of areas into those sections that are much easier to get into. So again, the general arts and humanities gives you a perspective on life. It gives you the skills of writing. It gives you skills of understanding the world. And then more specifically, what we have in the school can kind of help cater in those areas.
That's great. And I have someone here asking, Sean is asking about the National Folklore Collection. Can you tell us a little bit what that's about?
Well, the National Folklore Collection, the Civilisation, is one of the largest repositories of kind of traditional cultural material. And this would have begun in the 1930s in Ireland and collecting in Irish, although there's a lot of material in English as well. And this covers all aspects of, housing, clothing, what we eat, how we celebrate the various holidays through the year, folk tales, legends, all of that is coming into that collection, and it's vast. And I would recommend, if you would like to become familiar with that material, duchas.ie, duchas.ie, has a lot of that material, so it could give you a flavor of the types of stuff we study in UCD.
And we heard Stefan there speak about the Irish language community and everything that's happening, around field trips and things like that. Can you give us some specific examples? Amy is wondering about examples of field trips and the kinds of places that people go.
Our big one, of course, is in the spring program, and that is the trip to the Gaeilge. And we have very strong connections, particularly down in Corquina, down in the peninsula down there. We also have examples of visiting various other sites closer to home. A lot happens in Club Conan na Gaeilge on Harcourt Street, where various readings, poetry readings, theater productions. There is a really strong, vibrant community happening at the moment in Irish, and it's really exciting to see it develop. And it's really wonderful to see how open it is for people to engage with the material.
I just got a message there from Charlie. He is studying Irish, Gaeilge, in the Leaving Cert, and he describes himself, he's studying higher level, but he reckons he's, sort of H2, H3, not a H1 student. Does this preclude him from studying Irish? Do you have to be a top,
No. And I think, again, kind of coming back to that, how you study for the Leaving Cert is a very different way of how we approach the material when you come into third level. And I think, again, the language skills are definitely, that is an area we really try and focus on, and an area as head of school that I'm really looking at how we give the language side of things. But that isn't the only thing we look at when we're looking at Irish. I mean, again, you're looking at a rich tradition of material. I always welcome different views of how we approach this material, a deeper critical engagement with it. If you have a strong interest and a good Leaving Cert, which that is, you are more than welcome. And I could believe you being successful within our school. And just to say that the H4 is the recommended grade for Irish. So again, don't worry, Charlie, we would love to see you.
Time for one final question around popular combinations with Gaeilge.
Yes. Okay. So we see, of course, Irish is quite popular with geography. Again, those are for the more traditional teaching type of areas that they want to go into. But I see it's been really fantastic when I've seen students doing Irish as well as folklore, because it just gives them a greater breadth and depth to engage with the material. But you also see students with another language, whether it be French or other areas such as that, or even English. Again, that kind of those language skills and able to engage critically about that, it comes through. And Irish, I think it's just fantastic. Again, we see it so kind of provincial or local here sometimes, but it gives you such a view to the world. It gives you a perspective. And even in Ireland, it gives you a very different perspective of how we can look at the world in this area. So seeing that, Irish in history, of course, so many sources that are engaged within history. Really, Irish is just an area that can just emphasize and give you supports that put you ahead of many others in a lot of areas.
And on that positive note, Guramila Mahagat Kelly, so much for joining us, and to everyone on the call, Ganyari and Boherliv Galer, and we look forward to welcoming you to UCD.